Okay, I think we're live at the minute, Paul. Okay, Paul, thank you very much for joining me today and also for
No problem.
indulging me today.
Torn myself away from my laptop, David.
Okay, so first of all, my name is David, Director of Imagine Physiotherapy Clinics, and I'm joined by the infamous Paul Cook from Darlington Harriers today. Thank you for sparing.
I think that's one description.
Thank you for giving me your time today. Do appreciate it. So, for the benefit of our one or maybe two listeners that we're going to have today, Paul, if you just give me a bit of an introduction just about yourself, where you work, and your involvement with the Harriers.
Yeah, so Paul Cook, infamous leg end, apparently, David. So, yeah, Paul Cook, 45, married, obviously with two children, Maya and Megan. I work for BT. I've been working for Orange EE BT for, I think, coming up 25 years now.
Wow.
And I got involved with the Harriers about, I'm tempted to say about 7 or 8 years ago.
Right.
After a chance meeting with Mick Doughty. So Mick used to run the Up and Running store in town. I got chatting to him in the shop one day because I wanted some trainers. I think I was planning to run maybe the Great North Run or something at the time. And he said, oh, you should really come down to his training group. So he used to hold a Monday night training group, which was with the Tri Club. So I got to know those guys and a great bunch of people that they are. And he said, you should consider maybe joining up a club. So he kind of gave me an overview of the clubs in town. So obviously he told me about the Quakers and what those guys were about. And then he mentioned about the Harriers. And obviously at the time, Harriers was predominantly junior athletes with a sprinkling of some seniors.
Yeah.
But what I really liked about the Harriers was the fact that it wasn't so much the track and field element. I think it was more the fact that they were the original club in the town, and they kind of held all that tradition around running, and they've been around since 1891. So I like the idea of the being involved with the original club from the town. So so I had a trot up to see, I think it was Robin Rutherford at the time. Told him I was interested in joining the club. He gave me a membership form and off I went. I think my first meeting at the club was with Graham Bell. So Graham Bell, who is still at the club today, he was chairman of Darlington Tri Club for a period of time as well. And is still our press officer at Darlington Harriers. And I went to join him on the track as he was doing some, if I remember rightly, 200-meter reps at the time.
Yeah.
I think he was planning to do about eight reps of 200 meters with 200 jog recovery. Well, I think after 6, I realized I was absolutely spent and I was done. And I left Graham, who was probably in his late 50s there, just to continue his session before he totally embarrassed me. So yeah, that was my introduction to athletics and Darlington Harriers.
So when did you start running then? What sort of got you into it?
So I suppose the backstory to my running adventures. So I did the Great North Run when I was 17 and 18, and then basically I didn't do any
3 or something there.
58 or something, I think Ian Barnes probably would have been in his 60s at that point.
Yeah.
So I did the Great North Run for a couple of on 2 years. It was 92, 93. I did it.
Yeah.
I wasn't particularly quick. Some would say that you're still not particularly quick, Paul. But yeah, I take that on the chin.
Go on. What was your time that you got in your first Great North Run?
The first year I did it in 1 hour 51, which, to be honest, I was chuffed with. I think the second year I did it, I wasn't as quick, but again, I didn't do any training really for either event. It was just the fact that we were 17 and 18, and you should be fairly fit at 17 and 18. So,
yeah.
But then I pretty much didn't run till I was 30, coming up 37. And how I got into it randomly is my old boss, Neil, was based in Plymouth, and I was in a team meeting with Neil and the guys, and one of our team members said, "Oh, you'll do it, won't you?" And I said, "Oh, do what?" And he said, "Oh, just say yes." So I said, "Go on then. Yes. What am I doing?" He said, "Oh, come and run the Plymouth Half Marathon with me for my dad's charity." And at the time, his dad was quite ill. So I said, "Yeah, absolutely. I'll come and run Plymouth Half Marathon." I think it was for the Southwest Hospice. So a really, really good cause. Of course, I did all the training. Well, when I say I did all the training, I ran up to like 14 miles, I think, once. It pretty much nearly killed me. And then I went down to Plymouth to do the half marathon. Subsequently, the guy who convinced me to run for his dad's charity didn't run. So thanks very much for that. He sacked it off and just continued smoking. So I went down, did the half marathon. I did it in 1 hour 39. And another colleague of mine from EE in Plymouth. To be honest, I just wanted to beat him, really, because he was much younger and he's much better looking than I am. So, there were two reasons why I wanted to beat him. But I thought if I could just do maybe 1 hour 50, that's kind of a tick in the box in terms of you're fitter than you were when you were 17-year-old.
Yeah, definitely.
So I did it 1:39. I was chuffed to bits, to be honest. And I thought, yeah, I kind of enjoyed that. I'll go and run, a local race next. So I did Gator 10Ks, my first race, and I did it in 42:01. Yeah. Which again, I was absolutely thrilled.
Yeah.
I didn't do any further training, any further races that year. And then obviously I had that meeting with Mick. Mick took me under his wing. Did some coaching with Mick from the October the following year to I think it was March when we ended up doing the Mermaid 10K. But by that point, I think I had my half marathon time down to about 1:33. So I had progressed a little bit before I joined Mick's group. But after, I think, 4 or 5 months training with Mick, my 10K time went down from 42 minutes, which I think I'd just broken at Middlesbrough by a few seconds. So I'd finally gotten to 42 minutes, down to 37 and a half minutes.
Wow.
Because like most people get into the sport, David, you only know what you know.
Yeah.
So people like myself, and you'll have probably gone through this as well. When you start running, you'll think, okay, I'll try and run a little bit further. I might try and run a little bit faster. But you don't consider things like hill training or fartlek training or nothing like that. You just run and just think, I'll try and go a little bit faster than I did before. So having that variation of training with Mick, suddenly my endurance, my efforts, everything kind of went through the roofs. And that's why you see that kind of massive spike of, gone from 42 minutes to 37 minutes. Again, I haven't really progressed much from there, but yeah, that was my introduction to athletics, really. And I've just kind of kicked on from there.
Yeah, one thing I've sort of learned with my running is that there's always something new to learn, isn't there? You think you know everything, but then there's always something else that a few months later suddenly somebody else tells you about a different training plan or technique that they're doing, and and I've sort of flirted about with different training plans and techniques over the years, and some have worked and some haven't, and.
Yeah.
Certainly it comes with, with consistency and hard work, doesn't it? If you want to go faster.
Yeah. I think that's probably one of the best words to use. Really, is consistency.
Yeah.
You know, and I've probably made every mistake in the book in terms of probably overtraining. You know, certainly my not eating the right things, which I'm still convinced pizza is the way to
I
go.
was
But
just
you know,
about to say,
let's not go there. Yeah. Um, but you know, I mean, I look at people who I train with today. You know, people in the group such as John Clifford, 48-year-old. You know, and he ran what 71 minutes half marathon this
wow,
year. You know,
71. Wow.
71 minutes at 48-year-old, and it's just
What?
it's very impressive. But you know,
Yeah.
the whole group who obviously generally I train with are very impressive, all in their individual rights, as are the people who are just joining the club now. And I see that the people in SRG or the people in Michael Watson's, you know,
Definitely. I was about to
Couch
give
5K group,
Michael a shout
you
out.
know, and oh, absolutely, you know, and to be fair, Michael and the guys who have supported Michael, you know, Jen, Ronnie, Tony Williams, initially, those guys have done a fantastic job, and it's all about individual achievements, you know. I know certainly the people at I suppose the top end of the scale of running, and that, you know, I certainly don't class myself in that bracket, but you know, the people who are really good runners, you know, your Dean Newtons of this world, and you John Cliffords, and you know, they all look at those people and with a massive amount of respect in
Yeah.
terms of actually they've made the effort to kind of get into running, and it's bloody tough. It's tough at all levels, you know. I think sometimes people might look at the people like, you know, your Dean Newtons of this world and Lewis Moses and say, well, it's easy for them. You know, as you know, mate, it's not easy for anybody. Everybody has to work the backsides off in training. It's just at a different level. That's all.
I think with me, I'll probably touch on, you know, asking you a question in a second about this, but we all have our own demons when it comes to running, don't we? We all have our, you know, I certainly think I've always had problems with excuses, you know, for not going out and you know, almost convincing myself that, you know, not to go out for various different reasons. I don't think it's entirely about motivation. I just don't know whether it's what that problem is, you know, what that limiting factor to sometimes choosing to go out or not to go out. I mean, there's been plenty of times over the years where I've actually desperately not wanted to go out and then actually gone out and actually done an awesome training session and really surprised myself. And I just think, you know, well, it was definitely worth going out. And, you know, so it's...
You're right, though. Yeah, it sometimes happens that way. There's been many times where I've just thought, I feel terrible today. I feel lousy. I really don't want to race. I can't be bothered with the chew of competing with people. And then I'll put in a really good performance, and you kind of go, well, you know, where's that come from?
It was all that about,
And there's been other times where, you know, I've slept well, you know, than the night before. I've ate well. I've done everything right, and I've turned up with the race and just
not been there.
I've ran terrible. And you just kind of go, well, maybe not terrible, but just not on form. And you just kind of go, you know, there's just sometimes no method of the madness. So it's just all about, I suppose, if you, what's that, the old saying, is it prepared to fail? No, what was it? You'll probably know the saying.
Yeah,
where
fail
you
to prepare.
You fail to prepare to fail.
Yeah.
You know, it's absolutely spot on. I think if you do things right in training, if you try and get the right amount of sleep, if you try and eat fairly healthy or fairly well, more often than not, when you turn up for training or for a race, you'll perform well.
Yeah.
If you do all the wrong things all at the same time, then or consistently, then you know you won't get the results that you that you want or you hope. There has to be a level of discipline, I guess, in that as well.
I've certainly got used
and like you
to,
said, when it comes to, sorry, go on.
I was going to say, I've got used to over the years not being too disappointed on how I perform in a race. I used to probably, like a lot of people, be really disappointed if I didn't get personal best with every single race that I went out of, entered.
Yeah.
But I've certainly learned, over the years that you cannot PB in every single race that you enter. And as long as I feel like I've ran well, then and I've put the effort in and I've actually ran well, then I've had a good race. It's not all about PBs.
Yeah. No, it's not. And I think a lot of people, I've been guilty of in the past where I put that much pressure on myself before the race. I haven't ran well.
Yeah.
Because, like you say, I've got myself in decent shape. So I'm thinking, right, I'm going to go for a fast time today, and it just hasn't worked out that well. Maybe I've set off too quickly and I haven't run my normal race. So I think a lot of people do probably put too much pressure on themselves. So I try to take the approach where I just see it as a bit of fun, really, just a bit of social. And if I'm 4 or 5 miles into a 10K race and actually I'm feeling strong, then I might start taking it a little bit seriously. But up to that point,
yeah,
I'll try and relax and just enjoy it. But what you were saying before, just in terms of like self-motivation, I think it's too easy to take the easy option. There's been many times where we've had some like absolutely horrendous weather in this country. In fact, probably more often than not. And it's too easy just to go, I'm not going to train today.
Yeah.
I remember a session where a bunch of us went out on a Sunday morning because we were marathon training. And I think we had now planned to do 22 miles. And it was blizzards outside. I mean, the conditions was just horrendous. And we just got it done. And it wasn't pleasant. But because we did it in a group, we just got through it and ticked that box to say, well, because come race day, you can't predict what that weather's going to be like. So, you can't train, say, 4 months for a marathon, and on the day suddenly it's 30 degrees and it's blazing hot. You can't go, well, I don't like running in the sun. I've never really practiced that.
Yeah.
You just have to get on with it. Or if it's 40 miles per hour winds, you just have to accept that's the conditions on the day. So my advice to anybody is don't sack any of those sessions off where you say, well, I'll do that tomorrow. Just get it done. Just get it done. Even if you've got 6 miles to do and you think, well, actually, I'm not really enjoying this session. I've got 4 miles on my belt. 4 miles is better than none.
Oh, definitely.
So just have a go and just get out and get it done.
Yeah. How have you seen running evolve in Darlington and the Northeast over the last sort of 5 to 10 years?
Yeah, absolutely huge. Parkrun's obviously been like a massive thing. I remember doing it was kind of like a trial run. So the Harriers used to do a time trial once a month I think it was on the Parkrun route. This was before I joined. Obviously, Ian Barnes was kind of the brains behind bringing Parkrun to Darlington.
Yeah.
But I think the initial trial that we had, I think it was maybe 60 competitors. And I think New Year's Day this year, I can't remember how many people was there. There must have been I know it was a double Parkrun day, but 700, 800 people. It was huge.
Oh, yeah.
All various ages. You see people running with the dogs, people pushing prams. And I think it's probably removed the stigma that, running's for athletes. It's not, it's for everybody. And it's probably one of the cheaper forms of fitness. I mean, look at us as a club. I mean, our memberships are absolutely dirt cheap. And you've got access to the gym at Eastbourne. You've got full access to the track, and you're paying just over £1 a week.
So for the benefit, So for the benefit of people who aren't aware of what it costs to be a member of Darlington Harriers and what you might get, what are the current options? Obviously, I know that there's the virus at the minute, but generally,
yeah. So last year, we'll use last year as an example. It was £60 for the year if you want full membership, and that will give you full access to Eastbourne Track. It'd also give you access to the gym at Eastbourne. Now, we know that the gym at Eastbourne isn't huge, but it's got all the equipment in there. It's quite basic. If you just want a small workout, it's absolutely perfect. And the facilities are really good up there, as you know.
I mean, generally on an evening, that's when it tends to get a bit busier, but during the day, you can be pretty much in that gym on your own.
Yeah, it's got loose weights up there. It's got treadmills. It's got exercise bikes. It's got row machines. It's got some obviously machine weights up there. I think it's got some spin bikes up there as well.
Yeah.
And actually that £60 also covers your England athletics costs and your Northern athletics costs as well. So obviously we pay a fee to England athletics, which is £15 per year. And I think we pay in something like, it works out about £2 to Northern athletics as well. And that allows athletes to compete in obviously all the local and regional national events. Gives them discounts of clothing, sport shoes, and for the likes of up and running in town, you can get discounts of clothing and shoes and stuff. So it's great value, and for the price of what, just over £1 a week, it's peanuts really. If you go to use the track at Eastbourne as a one-off event, I think they charge something like £3.50 for an adult and £3.20 for a junior. So you only have to use it a handful of times really before you get your money back really and get real value. And obviously with that you getting coaching from some really great people, some really qualified coaches at the Harriers. We obviously put strength and conditioning sessions on a Wednesday night, which Chris Binns is running. We've also got Steve Gordon, who's obviously a kettlebell champion for Great Britain as well, and he obviously puts on some fantastic sessions as well. So we cover all track, field events as well as road running, trail running, ultra running for those really, really crazy people. There's a few people kind of popping in my head right now. So if anybody wants to run 60 miles plus, then get in touch. But yeah, we obviously cover all disciplines, and it's, as you know, David, everybody's just friendly. Everybody gets on, and ultimately everybody just wants to improve how they currently are. Whether that's on a fitness level, or they just basically want that social interaction with like-minded people. And we've got 400 people at the club at the moment, all various ages. I'll call Ian Barnes out because obviously Ian's the oldest of us all,
and the wisest.
And the wisest, yeah. So Ian's obviously 85, and our youngest members will be around 8.
Yeah.
So it's quite an age group.
So have you got any personal running goals over the next sort of year then?
Well, obviously I've been training extremely hard for London, which is now being pushed back to October 4th. So I think I'm up to about 1,000 miles. I think this year so far. Already this year. Ultimately, my goal was trying to break 2 hours 50 at London, but whether that's going to take place now, I'm not too sure. And ultimately, people's health and safeties, is mostly important. The run, we can run a marathon at any point, so it absolutely plays second fiddle at the moment. So really, that's my running goal for the year. Nothing else really. So I'm just trying to keep myself ticking over. What about you, David? What's your running goal? I'll interview you for a change.
Well, I already achieved my 5K or my park run goal for the year. I set my target in, I think it was October, November, that I wanted to get sub 19 at the Darlington Park Run.
Yeah.
And I put some pretty heavy training in over December and January. And I think it was February that I got sub 19. So that was my main goal I wanted to achieve. And so I was anticipating that it was going to take me till about August to get that PB. So to get it in February was, incredible in terms of how I felt on that. So now my parkrun goal has shifted to sub 17. Sorry, sub 18.
Oh, no, you got it on camera now. Sub 17, David. You got to do it.
Sub 18. So that's my personal goal on that one. I do love the park run, and I think there's a lot of people that will join me in that. I just love the fact that you're just meeting everybody every week, and it's a personal battle, with myself and everybody else, that you're just trying to beat yourself, and in that respect. So that was the main goal. I've on my half marathon, I've done 1:29:58. So I want to get that down to 1:25, I think, and I think that's achievable this year.
Definitely.
Depending if there's going to be any races this year. So I'm in the Birmingham half in October, I think it is, and that's when I aim to sort of go for that. So that's my main goal is the Birmingham half 1:25, and I'll chip in and do a few halves and a few 10Ks around that as well. So I've achieved my main goal of this year to get sub 19 at the parkrun. Now it's sub 8.
I witnessed that as well. Yeah, I think that was the I witnessed your sub 19. You were flying.
And just for everybody, I'm the guy that spews at the end of every single parkrun. Oh God!
It shows that you're working hard, though, David.
I cannot help it. It's that bloody hill at the end when you're trying to do your sprint finish. It's just a bit too much. So I think rather not just times as a goal. I think just to be consistent and consistently run, I think is another personal goal as well. Because the last couple of years, I blame business and work as getting in the way, and I saw the last couple of seasons of there's been a good few weeks and a few months where I've not done as much training. So the next 12 months is about stick at it and keep going, and don't let other factors get in the way. Because it's bloody hard coming back, isn't it, after you've had a period of of rest, and and you get comfortable with being too comfortable at home when you're not running and training.
Yeah, definitely.
But then I much prefer,
especially in the current climate as well. It'd be quite easy just to
too easy,
stop running. And understandable why people are kind of like not going out running at the moment.
So how are you getting on with
risks?
How have you getting on or adapted with the current sort of virus that's going on around at the minute then with regards to you running?
I'm running at least 10 miles a day, to be honest. I try to run, I suppose, a little bit out of town, so I don't see that many people. And to be fair, I haven't seen many people when I've been out on my run, which is good. And obviously, I've been trying to give people a bit of a wide berth, because they probably see a runner coming towards them, and their first fear is, they're going to cough all over me, and so I'm kind of
more sweaty than others as well, aren't they?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so I suppose I'm mindful of the fact that they will be conscious that I'm going to be running past them, and I don't want to make people feel uneasy as I'm running, but also I don't want to let slip obviously the work I've done so far this year. So so I'm seem to be getting the mileage in. I'm obviously hitting over 300 miles a month at the moment. So and a lot of that is just easy running, to be honest. Take my two dogs out for a run up the river and run down, and so it hasn't really impacted me massively. If anything, it's probably helped my training, because with me being at home, I'm not going into the office and then coming back and then having to put my trainers on, going out at 5 o'clock or after 5 o'clock. to then go and get at least 10 miles in, I can maybe do that over lunchtime. I can do it first thing in the morning. So it gives me a bit more flexibility where I can get out and about.
I've certainly found it. Some people will say they found it more of a challenge with everything that's going on with the running, but personally, I've found it probably a bit easier to get out and run.
Yeah.
I'm not as tired and pushed for time, coming back from work. So, but obviously, people will find it difficult for different reasons. Have you got any advice for people out there who may well have been, doing really well with the running and then, maybe slip back into, I wouldn't necessarily bad habits because it's difficult because of the situation we're in, but have you got any advice for people that may be struggling with motivation at the minute or finding it a bit difficult?
I totally understand why people would lose motivation, because I suppose I've thought about myself, what exactly am I training for?
Yeah.
So I guess the way I've approached it is I've just eased off on the intensity. So I'm continuing with the mileage, but I've reduced the pace massively, and if people just want to go out for a run, they might run, say, 8-minute mile, and normally go and run 9-minute mile and go and run down the river and stop your watch.
Yeah.
Have a walk down the river and just enjoy the outdoors while you can.
Well,
just really kind of, I suppose take back the intensity of what you were doing before. It doesn't hurt to obviously do the odd session now and again, but whilst we were kind of in this unknown situation where we don't know when we're going to be racing again, just enjoy actually running.
And make the most of the weather that's coming our way.
Put some music on, or exactly. We've got some really good weather coming up. So, but running alongside that, just obviously be mindful about where you're running, and don't rock up at parkrun at 9 o'clock. Just try and run away from your usual routes and try and maybe find some new places to run. But just be mindful of this social distancing that's obviously in place at the moment. Just so you're protecting yourself, but obviously you're making sure that other people are protected as well as you're out running.
Certainly,
it's important to kind of get out and about just for your mental being, I guess.
Yeah, I mean, with regards to running, I keep trying to remind people running is only really as hard as you make it. If you choose to run further than your fitness levels, then that's going to be difficult. If you choose to run faster than your fitness levels are, then it's going to be harder. So I just tell people that that you can run 20 meters, really slow, and that's still classed as a run. But obviously, if you want to run a mile, 2 miles, you can just go at a really steady, slow pace, but it's still better than being sat on the sofa. So you only make it as hard as you make it.
Set yourself a little target. Yeah. You can set yourself little individual goals, so, some people are, okay, I've never run more than 10 miles in a week. Well, make that your first target. See if you can run or build up to running 10 miles a week. And once you've achieved that goal, what's the next goal? See if you can get to 12. Use this time to do something or work on something that you wouldn't have done before. So I know strength and condition is something that a lot of people don't work on regular. So why not use this time to work on some core strength at home? If you don't want to go run, work on your stomach muscles or your arm muscles, or
do Joe Wicks's program,
yoga, Pilates. Don't you do a Pilates or yoga online, David? Maybe that's something that people could.
I've done one class on YouTube, and I apologize in advance for my presentation skills on that. But I'm working.
I stretched. Yeah, I was stretching to the top of the fridge. I don't know if that really counts, David. That's my core exercise. Doing I ate an apple or something.
That's about as much stretching as I do at the minute as well. Yeah.
But I think it is important that people just get into routines, because running, as you know, and exercise does help with people's well-being, mental well-being. So I think it's important people get into habits. So try and get up around the same time. Make sure that you're getting plenty rest on a night. Make sure that you're still eating properly, still like, you might not be able to go out and see your friends, but at least pick up the phone to them. If you haven't heard from one of your friends for a while, just give them a call. This is the perfect opportunity to do something that you haven't had that time to do. Because you'll never get this time again. You'll never get this kind of period of time where you've got time to, pick up a book and read it, probably cover to cover over the weekend, or read up on something that you've always wanted to know, or go out and run for the first time. Like I say, I don't want to use the word, but I will, but unprecedented times. It is unprecedented times, so utilize this. Don't see it as being a negative. Use it as a positive. And that's where I'm trying to view it.
I think as well, finding a running buddy that you can hold each other accountable to as well. So I've got a mate of mine, Johnny, who we're always WhatsApping each other and saying, how are you getting on? And, what have you done this week? And, so we keep each other motivated, and, we give each other thumbs up, whether it's 1 mile we've ran or whether it's 20 miles we've ran, it doesn't really matter. It's just well done for getting out. And so we keep each other going. So for me, our goals have obviously changed because for most people, it was your goal was, we're going to do the Great North Run, or I'm going to complete half marathon, or I'm going to do the Darlington 10K. We haven't got that luxury at the minute. So like I say, it's that, what are your goals at the minute? And like you said before, if it was 5 miles, 10 miles a week you used to run, let that be your goal and see if you can build that up and use those as your markers,
and like you said, Darlington 10K, Great North Run, those events still could happen.
It still could, so
this is giving you the perfect opportunity to get yourself into a position where you could run those events. And if those events don't happen, there will be other events that will eventually come on. So why not get yourself in a position where you can comfortably run up to, say, a half marathon? So if Great North Run doesn't happen and races then start in October, or other local races either in October, that potentially you could use all that work and all that effort that you've done to go and run another half marathon or a 10K or whatever it is later in the year. So like I say, use it this is a positive time, not a negative time. There's, otherwise you'll just drive yourself crazy. It's not ideal. As you know, running in the group, it helps massively. So I get why people might lose a little bit of motivation, but like I said, just do something differently. Go and run with music. I don't normally run with music, but now is a good time just to put your headphones in and just enjoy the scenery around you.
So how's the charity work doing this year?
Yeah, well, it was going really well. We obviously had a comedy night for children with cancer, so which Kelly Sloan and John Dunn are also supporting this year. We were due to hold a fun run, which should have been last month. I've pushed that back to end of May. Again, that might get pushed back again, depending on what happens with the coronavirus over the next few weeks. But yeah, it was going fine. Obviously, at the moment, that's on hold. We've got the Run for Louis virtual run, which Sam Richardson is holding. Ideally, we wanted to hold this on the 12th of May originally in South Park, but that's looking unlikely. So we're just going to do it as a virtual run. So people can sign up through Race Best. Everybody who signs up will get a medal, and they can literally run the 5K at their own leisure. And then it'd be really great if people just shared their results, through social media, and just to give other people a motivation in terms of, I got out there today and I'm supporting a local charity and doing something rather than just sitting on your backside, really.
So how much money do you think you've raised for children with cancer over the years?
I don't know, to be honest.
Thousands, isn't it?
6 figures.
Wow.
Yeah. I don't know the exact figure, but yeah, six figures. But a fantastic charity. You know, I know we've had quite a few people got involved with children with cancer, and we've met some amazing people and their families. You know, in terms of what the child's had to go through, and then obviously how that impacts the families as well. And when you think children with cancer, yes, they are a national charity, but they are such a small group of people. But now, I think in London last year, they had something like 2,500 people running for them. So, you know, just, I mean, there's fantastic charities all up and down the country, but yeah, that was something that kind of struck to me originally, like a charity that I'd want to raise money for. Obviously, being a father, and
have you had a chance firsthand to see the impacts or the money that's been raised then?
Yeah, so I've met one of the families through Children with Cancer, you know, and still in contact with these family today. And their son Jack spent 9 months at Great Ormond Street, pretty much in a bubble tent, and he was only allowed 3 visitors over that period of time. So
wow.
So everybody who's sitting at home now thinking, "Oh Christ, I've been at home for 3 weeks."
Yeah.
Imagine how this poor kid felt. You know, 9 months only being able to see, well, his mum and dad and one other visitor. Horrendous. You know, and he's done fantastically well. I know Children with Cancer, when it first started, I think their survival rate was something like 15%. Which is really, really low percentage. Now it's like up and over 85%. So
wow,
it just goes to show. Oh, it's tremendous.
That's amazing.
Yeah. So yeah, I mean, obviously some of the money that's raised then goes back into marketing and paying for things like places at like London Marathon and that. So if anybody promises to raise X amount of money, you know, it's really key that they do as much as they're physically possible to raise as much money, because you know the charities are out of pocket.
So are you always looking for people to get involved with you with the charity? And
yeah, I mean, you know, I'm not proactively looking for children with cancer. I mean, I think they get more than enough volunteers, I think, now. But it's a fantastic charity to get involved with. You've got people like obviously Lewis Moses' wife Gemma, who set up the Move charity again. A fantastic charity. They're always looking for people, and I'm sure that's something that we'll be supporting this year. Barry Talman's organised an event for those, which was supposed to be in May at Sedgefield Races. And that event's been pushed back to September. But again, that's raising money for the Move charity, which helps people who basically recovering from cancer, like young adults recovering from cancer. So just again, there's loads of fantastic charities such as that, which you know, if you're fit and healthy, just get involved. You know, you're doing the running anyway, so why not, you know, help a charity at the same time?
That's another a big motivational boost for a lot of people, isn't it? To get out running, it's that motivation to raise money and see the benefits of that money that they're raising as well, isn't it?
Yeah, I think a lot of people get involved with charities when something happens to them personally. So maybe them or a family member is taken ill, and they think, right, I'm going to raise some money. I didn't do that. I kind of took the opposite approach to say, well, actually, I am fit and healthy. I've got healthy children, and therefore I want to. I'm going to run a marathon. So right, okay, let's raise some cash. And that's kind of how I took how I go and do, I suppose, fundraising for charities. I know there's loads of people out there who do great deal of work. Gillian Classen's another one who's raised well over 100,000 for children with cancer. I think she's probably been doing it for about 10 years now, I think.
Yeah.
And you know, it holds events every year and raises thousands. So there's lots of good people out there.
Brilliant. Okay, we're going to finish off with some interesting questions to find out a little bit more of information about you, Paul.
Oh dear.
Okay, so
I was going to wear an outfit for this conversation this morning.
okay, so tell our listener one thing they may not know about you.
Oh, that's a good one.
One thing.
Just one thing.
One thing.
Okay, one thing. So, one thing they may not know. I have played football with. I'll keep it very clean. I played football against England's most capped England international.
Never.
Peter Shilton.
Who? Shilton.
Peter Shilton.
Did you score?
I actually put him on his backside. So years
keep
ago,
it clean, Paul.
I said backside. Backside's allowed, I'm sure. So I won a football competition when I was coming to 17, and actually on my 17th birthday, I spent the day at Bisham Abbey in London, where I basically trained with Peter Shilton for the day, and then spent the day watching England's football team. So that will be 92. And the likes of Brian Robson was there, Gascoigne, Graham Taylor was the manager at the time, Stu Pearce, so all the kind of big names at the time. So I got to meet some of those people and watch them train. Yeah, which was a fantastic experience. Yeah.
Did Peter Shilton have any pearls of wisdom?
I think he said Paulie should run rather than playing football because clearly you're not very good. But
they're good for running.
I did. Yeah, we had a penalty shootout against Peter Shilton, and I slammed a few past him, and he didn't get anywhere near them, and we got down to sudden death, and I ran up to take one of the penalties, and he dived in advance thinking what I was going to do, and I just tapped it on the other shoulder. So I did actually leave him on his backside, which did raise a few laughs from the people behind the goal. But he asked if I was trying to put him into early retirement, and my answer to him was very much so, because at the time he was playing for Derby County, and they had Sunderland on the weekend. So, if I could get Peter Shilton out of the way, I think it would probably get Sunderland 3 points, which we generally desperately need.
Okay. What would your best friend say about you?
What, just one word, or
you can
Joker? I would think. Yeah, Joker. Always playing tricks on something. Always on the wind up.
I think that's why you're my first.
I've kept it very clean this morning.
You've done well.
I didn't turn up in a DJ outfit this morning.
Okay, who is the most famous person you've ever met then? Or are those people you've just discussed the most famous people you've ever met? Or does anyone trump that?
Oh. The most famous person, it's a good question. Kevin, I'm going to go for Kevin Phillips instead. He's more famous than the likes of Peter Shilton. I've got my Mackham's hat on.
Yeah, okay. You are a Sunderland fan, so I'll give you that. Okay, so which famous person would you most like to be, and why?
Famous person who I'd like to be. I would like to be Jack Nicholson. Just because.
I'm going to scare people.
Well, there's that element, yeah. I just think Jack Nicholson is an absolutely amazing actor. But I just love his lifestyle. He just clearly he very intelligent guy, but he is who he is. He doesn't try and pretend to be anybody else. you know. Yeah, I think Jack would have to be the guy. I think even in these films, he just plays himself.
Yeah.
He plays himself, by the way, just in case there's any misinterpretation there.
Okay, what embarrasses you most when you're in front of other people?
Believe it or not, I hate standing in front of a crowd of people. I do it quite often, but I wouldn't class myself as somebody who's naturally confident in speaking to like loads of people.
You can be good at
I'll
something,
do it.
but you might not particularly enjoy it.
Yeah, it's not something that naturally, I see some people who are really like comfortable behind a microphone, and I'm definitely not one of those people, but I'm more than happy to do it. So yeah, that's probably the one thing. Public speaking.
Okay. If you could change your first name, what would it be?
I can't say I've ever considered changing my first name. I don't know. I'd probably change it to some female name or something, just for the crack.
Susan.
Answers on the back of a postcard for that one.
Okay, what's the funniest thing that's ever happened to you while you've been running?
Depends how you define funny.
Something I'd laugh at.
Probably how other people would find it funny is moments where you've kind of been caught short a little bit. I remember one particular incident where I think I'd been unwell, so I'd been taking a little bit of medication. I got about 3 miles out, and I'm thinking, yeah, I'll be fine. I'll get home in time. And then maybe half a mile later, thinking, right, need to jump into those bushes right now. And then it's kind of that debate whether is it the underwear or is it the socks that's going to go? One of them has to go.
Where's your left sock gone?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, no socks. I left the socks on just for your knowledge.
Have you seen any funny things happen to other people when you've been out running?
I wasn't there at the time, but I know there was an incident where I can't remember which race it was, but Peter Armstrong opened one of the toilet cubicles.
Oh yeah.
And somebody hadn't locked it.
Oh no way.
And they were sitting there on the toilet, which was I imagine a very, very funny moment as Peter held the door open. This guy kind of waved to everybody. Yeah, I'm sure there's been loads of random situations, none that kind of spring to mind, none that I could probably say on here anyway. Similar stories to the one I just kind of I mentioned there. Certainly, I know Nick Mason had an incident at Parkrun one Saturday morning, which was funny to everybody else, but probably not to Nick. But yeah, I'm sure there's been one or two.
Yeah, no, to be fair, running's an awesome sport, isn't it? And I do wish everybody all the best during this, this unprecedented time that we're experiencing at the minute. And like I say, if anybody can get out there and just get out for a short run, and just make it nice and easy, and make the most of the weather.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Now, listen, Paul, I've really had, I've had some good fun today, mate.
A good catch up.
Yeah, thanks for indulging me.
One man and the dog will be watching, David. Don't worry. and even the dog switched off.
Right, Mum,
the dog switched off
now. Keep 2 meters away. Right. No, listen, I do appreciate that, mate, and all the best. And I do hope that we get a chance to run together again at some point soon. Yeah, absolutely. All right, mate. You take care. Yeah, take care, Paul, mate. Cheers. Thanks very much. All the best. Cheers, Dave. See you later. Bye-bye.